Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a full face of first impressions. I feel like I always tend to start the month off with a full face of first impressions, so this month will be no different. So if you want to see how we achieved this look right here today and all of the products as well as full reviews on everything, make sure to keep on watching and please don't forget to subscribe. I do upload 3 times a week and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be reminded every time I post, which is once again 3 times a week. Anyway, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so jumping right in, I'm going to start. This is the Boscia Pore-Fecting White Charcoal Mattifying Treatment Primer. Oh, cool, it's a pump. I didn't even realize it was a pump. So this is going to be a... Oh. It's very thin looking, but this is going to supposedly mattify the face and control pores. You guys know that I have yet to find something that I think does both of those things well. I will have something that either blurs or mattifies, and I typically have to layer 2 or 3 products together to get the desired effect. So if this works out, I may have finally found something that I can use as a single primer. A little bit of a tacky finish, but not in a bad way. Everything just feels smoothed a little bit. For foundation, this is the Givenchy Teint Couture Long Wearing Fluid Foundation, illuminating and comfortable, shake well before use. This does have an SPF 20 in it, and I have the shade 3 Elegant Sand. I mean, it looks like it might be a little bit light, but I'm going to take that on my sponge. And I'm going to start with a little bit because I can always build up and add more. Yeah, that's definitely pretty light. Oh yeah, that is not going to work. Okay. Scratch that. Okay, that's crazy. Instead, I do have another foundation on here that I wore this once a very long time ago. This is the All Hours foundation from YSL. This is in the shade BR30. That's definitely a better color. Still a little bit light. But this also has an SPF 20 in it. And SPFs do tend to oxidize a bit. So I'm going to blend this out and pray that we oxidize a tad. Okay, so I am officially horrible at trying to quickly match my shade because both of those are way too light. So I am going to grab, do I have a foundation that's up? I do. I'm going to take a little bit of my MAC Studio Fix because this is notoriously too dark for me. And I'm going to, oh yeah, that looks better already. I'm going to blend that into these 2 foundations and hope whatever the hell them mixed together is a little bit closer to my shade. Yeah, it's definitely a little on the light side, but it is officially a color that I can work with. For concealer, this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Long Wear Concealer. I used to use this foundation and I liked it. I have the shade 105 Ivory Rose. And I'm going to dot a little bit of this. See, for concealer, that's not a bad shade. So I can eyeball my concealers, apparently, a lot better than I can eyeball my foundations. This has a little bit of like a paint thinner smell to it. It's not necessarily bad, but a little off-putting. Think of it like the, what is it, the Milani? No, this is Milani. Think of it like the Wet n Wild foundation. That is definitely a little bit on the, like, paint thinner. Think of it like the Wet n Wild foundation. That definitely has a little bit of that same paint thinner smell. If you are not sensitive to fragrance, you won't really notice it. It's definitely there, but it's not horrible. Okay, so it's definitely brightening the under eye. I am noticing that it's kind of picking up my foundation a little bit. So I'm going to dot a touch more. I was really lucky in my last, I want to say 3 first impressions videos that everything worked out pretty well. So, of course, I am due for a day where both foundations are way too light on me and everything looks like a crazy hot mess. Okay, so for powder, this is the Milk Makeup Blur and Set. I have used this before, but it was literally one time, and I don't even think I could tell you what I thought about this, because I genuinely do not... Oh, wait, nope, before I do that, I'm going to grab... This is from Nude Sticks. This is the Nudie Bloom All Over Dewy Color, and I have the shade Tiger Lily Queen. I'm going to take a touch of cream blush. Not a lot. Every time I put on cream blush, I think I look absolutely crazy. And then I blend it out, and I think I don't hate it. I'm going to grab a dual fiber brush to blend this out. I do, when I do something with cream products, prefer the type of dual fiber brush, because I find it just spreads the best of any type of applicator. That's actually quite pretty. So it's definitely not overwhelming when using a dual fiber brush like this. I'm going to take a tiny bit more, because when I powder, this stuff is going to basically disappear. Yeah, that's pretty. I might still top it with a powder blush just to be on the safe side, but I do like how that looks. Now into the milk powder. Just going to make sure we have no creases. And we're going to set everything down. And this is translucent, so it shouldn't cover up any of that blush, or I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm definitely loving the sifter applicator, because I can just like tap my brush and get whatever I'm looking for in there. And the base doesn't look half bad. Definitely a little on the fair side, but that was my bad. Okay, I am going to quickly prime my eyes. I did pick this up. This is the cream eyeshadow color from Givenchy. This is number 14. I don't know if it has a name, but it is a waterproof 16-hour hold liquid eyeshadow. And I'm going to be trying this because I am still on the hunt for an eye primer that's not the MAC Paint Pot. Not that I don't love my MAC Paint Pot, because you guys know I do, but I hate not having options. And even with that one, there are still days where I will notice my eyeshadow will crease. So I'm hoping, I mean, right off the bat, the pigmentation on that is beautiful. And Paint Pot in Painterly is definitely a little on the pink side. So I did pick this up in a neutral, almost yellow side. It's definitely a little more warm toned. So that way, if I am doing more of a warm eye look, I'm not taking like this out of place pink primer that's going to dilute my colors. I am going to quickly, before that creases, just set it down. Next up for brows, this is from the Sephora collection. It is the Bow Brow in Universal Deep. It is a retractable and fairly thick brow pencil. So I'm going to use this to fill in my brows. That was super easy. I definitely like the color. It feels and looks like it's more of an ashy brown, a little on the cool side, which you guys know I prefer my brows to be a little cooler. But that was really easy to fill in. I am going to grab a spoolie just to kind of comb it through and blend that color out. Soften it a little bit. Yeah, once you soften it up, it's definitely much nicer. That was like a really easy brow. One thing I will say is I feel like I used a lot of product in that first application, but it is Sephora collection, so it is more on the affordable side, and I'm not mad at the results. We're like plowing through and I feel like I'm rushing, but I'm not. I am going to next jump into bronzer. This is the Benefit Hoola bronzer. Just like the Milk, I have had this for a very long time, and I don't typically use it. So I did want to give this a second try, because you guys know I went recently into my Marc Jacobs Tantric bronzer, the one in the black container, and that's a bronzer I haven't used in a very long time, and I really liked the shade, which got me thinking about the other bronzers in my drawer that maybe I don't give enough love to. So I saw this one in this little box, and I figured it might be a nice time to give it a second go. And I am going to top that with a little bit of a coral blush, just because I want to intensify the powder, or the cream blush, which I feel like is getting lost. This is another product that I never use for some reason. This is the Diamond Blush Palette from Natasha Denona. And I use the highlighters in here all the time, and I feel like I never grab for the blush shades. So I am going to also use the 2 powder highlighters today, just to add some glow to the cheeks. See how beautiful that is? And then once you layer the second one on top of it, it's just the most beautiful, effortless, blinding highlight. So for eyeshadow, this is also from Sephora. This is the new I Love Light Warm Eyeshadow Palette. There were like 8 different I Love palettes, so this is the light warm one. I am going to take this shade right here, which is a matte. It looks like it's meant to be a transition shade, but I am actually going to use that to brighten up the under eye. See how that side just instantly pops a little bit more? And I'm going to use the neutrals in this palette to create a quick, smoky-ish eye. And I'm going to take the frosty shade right here. We're going to highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. So this little palette is quite cute. I definitely think that if you like soft, neutral palettes, this is going to be really easy to use. I think that it having just the right amount of shades that you can really create a nice, easy, neutral look is definitely beautiful. Plus, it's like $14, so nice and affordable. Yeah, this is quite pretty. I didn't use this shade right up here in the middle, which is a little more mauve-y, or this gold down here. But I see how you can kind of utilize these to get a nice assortment of different, knocking things over, a nice assortment of different shades. So I don't have a new setting spray, so I'm going to quickly set my face and curl my lashes, and I'll be back for mascara and lip. All right, so face is set down. Time to throw on some mascara. This is from the brand Black Up, which is a, I guess, newer brand. I haven't heard much about it, but it is a brand designed for women of color, which, I mean, that doesn't mean I can't use it. Just means that it needs a little extra love. So I'm going to throw this on. This claims to be lengthening, volumizing, separation, curl, everything all in one. I can already tell you I love the wand because this is the type of curled, thick wand I like. So let's give it a try. That's actually a really pretty mascara. It reminds me a lot of actually Roller Lash. It's not too much volume, but it's definitely a nice amount of curl. There's a little bit of volume to it. I'm not going to say there's none, but I mean, you can see from one to the next that it's definitely some nice curl. My lashes are nice and separated. They're not even remotely clumpy. I think I like this. Okay, so this mascara is absolutely beautiful. I think I might be in love, which means I'm like 3 for 3 with my most recent mascara picks, because the last, I want to say 3 that I've tried, I have absolutely been in love with. So for lips today, I have used the glosses before, but I have never actually tried the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipsticks. This is the shade Bohemian, and it is a nice brick red. So I'm going to go throw this on. So right away, I will say that this is absolutely the type of color I go for. It's not super sticky. It's definitely nice and comfortable. And apparently I did a horrible job of lining these. So I'm going to go fix this up and I'll be right back. So you ever have one of those days where you just keep adding and adding and next thing you know you are overlined like a drag queen? That's what happened to me today and I don't mind. The lip was a little intense, so I did also throw on a quick lash. But now that the face is done, I'm just going to go through the products. First, the foundation cocktail today. Totally my fault that the shades were too light, but definitely something I will either try in the dead of the winter, not that I'm too tan right now, but a little bit, or something I might just have to get my actual shades in. I don't dislike either of the finish and the way they applied, but definitely not my color. The concealer, it definitely has that like paint thinner, affordable drugstore foundation scent, a lot like that Wet n Wild, but I don't think it creased on me. It definitely did settle in my lines a little bit, not in a creasy way. Like, so if you're unfamiliar, creasing is when there's a crack in the concealer where you can see it rubbed away. This just is accentuating this line. So it's not covering it up, but it's not creasing. So if you have less lines than me, you might really like this concealer. But if you do like something that's a little thicker to smooth that out, you might want something a little bit more. I'm really enjoying the way the powder worked. I might have to continue to reach for that. The combo of the pores, like my pores look great. My skin looks very smooth. And I mean, I have to really test these out with foundations I know and trust because I haven't gotten shiny yet. But if I start to get shiny, I want to know if it is the primer's fault or the foundation's fault. The eyeshadows I'm really liking. The eyeshadow base, we are not creasing yet, so that is a good sign. Obviously, the Hoola bronzer, I mean, it went on really nicely. I'm not mad at it. I think that the cream blush is a pass from me. I don't think it did quite enough, and if you have drier skin than me and you really like cream products, you might like it a little more. But for someone like me who's going to go in with powder anyway, kind of just an extra step. The standout products are going to be the mascara, which is absolutely beautiful. I know I did throw on a lash, but that's only because the lip was so intense. But before that, I really liked the way that it looked. The lip was also quite beautiful. I mean, obviously, this is the kind of shade I tend to go for. It is a nice, deep, brick, vampy red. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of the lipstick, especially as we get into the fall. And the brow, surprisingly enough, I think it was super effortless. I was able to just really quickly throw some color in the brows. If you have brow hair and you just want to like line it a little bit, then this might be a product for you if you don't want to go in with such a thin pencil and shape it and carve it and the works. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know down below some of the things that you have been trying lately, because trying your recommendations is how I find out what I love. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!